What's up? What's up, you guys? Welcome to another episode of the Stubb Show. I thank you guys for joining me for a new level for me because now we're broadcasting not just only on Instagram, but also on YouTube and Facebook. So let me go in really quick. Hold on for 1 minute and let me add in um, this stream here so that you guys can join in. So, for all my people just joining in on Instagram, welcome, 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 welcome. We are now broadcasting on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. So, I hope you guys can hear me. My show on today is going to be about aging properly. Mhm. Many times as we are young and as we're aging, we don't think about those senior years and what we're going to need in those senior years. And many of us are just expecting that our children would take care of us or our family or our social security. But we are living in a time right now where that's just not enough. And you're going to need to prepare for your senior years now in order for you to properly do so in peace. So I'm getting ready to welcome in my special guest for today, and she's going to be coming on to talk about her brand and her business and the many ways that she can assist you with that. I'm getting ready. I'm looking for the slide so I'll be able to put that on for you guys as I get ready to introduce her. So bear with me because this is my first time on today running this on all three pages. So I'm excited, I'm learning, and it's new. So let's get ready to do this brief introduction so I can bring my guest on for today. All right, all right. I hope you guys enjoyed that brief introduction for my special guest on today. And here she is. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey,
Hello,
girl.
hello.
How are you doing?
I am fantabulous. How are you?
I'm good. I can't complain. I'm alive. I'm kicking. So, what can I complain about? How was your day?
It was amazing. I had such a great day. I love the intro video because I just feel like with our vets, they get so left behind and overlooked. So I'm glad that that was a video we was able to kind of share to kind of set the stage about how we care for one another, all ages, all different walks of life.
Hold on before you get in. Let me give you your proper introduction. I just wanted to know
I'm,
how your day was going. I see you ready. You ready? You
I'm
ready?
ready, ready, girl.
Okay, so my special guest for today is Miss Angel Y. She is the owner of Home Helpers Home Care of Waldorf, Maryland, which is a premier non-medical home health staffing agency dedicated to providing compassionate and reliable non-medical home care services. Her team of skilled caregivers assists with daily activities, offering personalized support that promotes independence and enhances the quality of life for their clients. Whether it's help with household chores, companionship, or personal care, Home Helpers Home Care is here to ensure that your loved ones receive the attentive and respectful care they deserve in the comfort of their home. Go girl. I like that intro. For
Thank
those
you.
that don't know, this is actually my best friend. So we've been friends for over 30 years. So I'm thankful to have her on the show today to present her business on my platform so that we you guys can know how you can take care of your seniors, your elderly care and yourself. So let's get into the interview. You know I'm a little nervous.
I don't know why, because you're so good at what you do. And I want to congratulate you on your new platform, me being the first. This is great. But yeah, I think, I don't know why, because you do this so good.
It's the first time that I'm on all platforms, so I'm learning as I go, and I can't wait to go back and look at it. So, what made you want to take that leap of faith and get into the elderly care business, senior care? Let me say that.
Well, I would say it's really for it's for anyone who has a need. I
Okay.
mean, elderly is obviously the more when you think about the care, but if you are a mom who may be suffering with postpartum depression, or you may have had a surgery, you may need some assistance around the house. So it's kind of for anyone who has a need that may need some extra care. But what made me get into it was I have been in the medical field for a while. Well, since I graduated over probably what 20 years ago.
Don't tell nobody.
Okay, but I'm saying we aging gracefully, so you know. But since I've been out of high school, I've been in the medical field. I tried other professions, but medical was always the one that gave me fulfillment. And I was working at John Hopkins, and I just started to notice it was a need. And from there, I did some research and I took the leap of faith. And on August 5th, 2022, was my last day on my corporate job. And I must say it has been the best thing I have ever done in my life. So that's what really made me do it. And then too, I had aging parents, and it's just a need. It's a very, very silent epidemic that do not get a lot of attention because I think everyone else is taking care of battered women, people with drug addictions, um, people who's on all other areas of life.
Yeah, the
But
list goes on.
it do, but we don't think about the elderly. I did a live one time before, and I was just asking people about resources because I don't see enough people sharing information on how to help our elderly. Um,
Especially in our community and within our culture, we're worried about the right now or what we're going to have right now. And then we just like, okay, well, when my parents get older, I'll take care of them or I'll move them in. But that's also something that you have to take on and prepare for, because taking care of your parents is like taking care of another child or another person. So you have to be prepared. And a lot of times it can become a burden to some people if they weren't prepared, as well as their parents weren't prepared. So, what are some of the things that people don't think about in their younger years that could affect them in a negative way within their older years?
One big thing I don't think we think about is how these services will get paid for. You had a gentleman on the show, and as I've been growing my business, I have learned a lot about insurances, and one in particular is long-term care insurance.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people don't think to pay into that one because I don't think we was educated enough on how it benefits us in the long run. I think we just think about when we pass on, you get, uh, you
Life
know,
insurance.
life insurance, but you don't think about long-term care. What happens in between before you pass? And
Mm-hmm.
long-term care insurance is one of the insurance that do cover home care insurance. A lot of our um, commercial insurance do not participate with in-home care. And
Mm-hmm.
it was really mind-blowing because you would think they would want to participate, but if they can keep you sick, they want to keep you sick. And
Right.
so that's more money for them. But if you have like a long-term care insurance, I would tell anyone while you are able to get it, definitely pay into a long-term care insurance policy.
Yeah, and invest in it. Your jobs don't really push it as much because they get their own kickback from getting insurances for you. Even with banks, they tell you about the life insurance or one thing, but they don't tell you about everything else that you will need. So my next question is: many people end up taking care of their parents in their older years and struggling. In what
Mm.
ways does caring for a parent affect the child or children that you have noticed within your field of business?
Well, when I go into these homes and get a chance to talk to the families, the decision makers, but it's most time the children, they're very frustrated because they wasn't expecting for mama to get dementia at 68. So now
Right.
mama is no longer, or dad is no longer what they knew. So now they're expecting her to be a certain way. So she's getting frustrated because mama don't know what's going on. The daughter is trying to figure out, well, why mama acting like that? Because she ain't used to be that way. So now it becomes a relationship issue. They have the parent there, but they're so frustrated
Mm.
that it becomes an issue. Um,
A burden.
a very much so burden. So then you find, then it can trickle into marriages because people don't understand that when the pandemic hit, a lot of people who was in nursing homes wasn't able to see their loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people now have their reservations about putting their loved ones in nursing homes.
Mm-hmm.
However, when you go and talk about home care and insurance is not covering the services, a lot of people don't want to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
But then they don't pay for it. Then what happens is mama start having falls. She's falling now. Now she got to have hip surgery. Now she's in a hospital and she got a UTI. So it's like the health just starts to do this slow domino effect because we don't see the importance of investing in getting some sort of home care in the home. So that we don't want to pay for nothing, but we expect things. So it's so sad because I meet with so many different walks of life. And when it comes to our kind, we are so selfish in that way because we're like, oh, that's too much. But at the same time, you got this. I mean, the families be doing nice, clearly, because I'm in Southern Maryland. And just for the record, Southern Maryland, Charles County is the richest county now. PG County is no longer the richest county.
Okay.
That's for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
More people have moved out this way and they're doing pretty good for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And they just don't want to pay and invest in their loved one care. And
And
that's where it becomes sad.
and just to add on to that, they don't think about the effect of if you don't have the money to pay for someone to care for your parent in your home, then what happens? You have to take off work, you have to,
Yeah.
you have to handle these things, and then you become more frustrated because your money become tied up because you can't work. Your children are frustrated because now you're telling the grandchildren to take care of grandma. And of course, you love grandma or grandpa, you grew up with them, but the financial burdens and the care burdens and the time burden that it can take, it can really beat a person up. And I see a lot of people complaining and being frustrated about it, but that's why we have people like you to assist them, and they can connect with you. And that's why we're doing this show also, so that people can just start preparing, having the resources that they need, so now they can DM you and talk with you about it. My next question is, do you think that the Black culture is educating themselves enough on the senior care? Please explain your answer, which we kind of said, kind of talked about, but go ahead and elaborate some
So
more.
I just want to go back to that question. I would say to anyone who this just falls in their lap, because what is happening is too, you have people, because I also, let me just back up a little bit. Once I started my business, I got more involved with my county. I needed to know what was going on in the county that I have a business. So
Okay.
I became an ambassador for Charles County, and I
Mhm.
also sit on the agent council board. So a lot of elderly people have become displaced in their home because the home either was too old or not in living condition because they didn't have the money or the resources to get certain things fixed. And so
Mhm.
now maybe the husband passed away or one of the spouses passed away, and now they are forced to come live with one of their children. So
Mm.
I'll say to anyone who becomes a caretaker who never changed a adult diaper before, have patience.
Yeah.
Have patience.
Mhm.
Because when you don't have patience with them, it affects their health. It affects their mental state. They will decline that much more faster. And remember, they did it for you. They did it for you.
Yeah.
Please have patience with them. So many people, elderly, are dealing with elder abuse.
Mm.
It's ridiculous because people don't want to have patience. Their loved ones don't want to have patience with them. So
Not
just have some
even them
patience.
in these homes too. You just
Oh
put
yeah,
your parent away in a home, and then now they're being treated and they can't, speak up for themselves or advocate for themselves. So you need to have someone there for you. But like you said, just having that patience and not being so frustrated, because they say that we are an adult once and a baby twice. You know,
Yes.
because you are a baby when you're born, and the older you get, you go back into your childlike statuses and ways. And of course, seeing mom or dad like that, you can't believe it, because you're like, I seen you this way. I know that you know how to do this. And you're expecting them to walk like they used to, to be able to remember things like they used to move like they used to, and they just can't, no matter how much they may want to, or you see others doing it. As time go down, you just watch them go. But yeah, it could be frustrating, especially dealing with a dementia patient. So you are definitely right on point with that. And
Because
talk.
here's the thing, Stubbs. Here's the thing. Without smart devices and we not really using our brain to their capacity, do you understand how the onset of Alzheimer's and dementia is just going to get that much more younger? Like, I
Right.
mean, because we're not using the muscles, so it's going to get weaker. So
Mm-hmm.
we already now have so many vitamins we have to take just to
Keep up.
focus, to stay
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
So if we're seeing this happening in 70-year-olds, we
Mm-hmm.
better watch out because
Yeah.
these kids today, they
Mm-hmm.
not built like we are.
Yeah.
They
And they
are
don't have
not,
to use their brain for nothing.
girl, they are selfish. They're
Yeah.
going to think about them. They're not
Yeah.
going to think about mama. As great as you love them, they're not going to have time for you.
And people better start planning right now, because, like you said, we living in a time where, you know what, them children may say it's robots. Put a robot on there to take care of mom or dad, or just put them away, because you are absolutely right. You got to plan for this, not just your life insurance. Everybody's planning for when they die, but you got a process that happens, and you should want to live to be your senior. You should
In
want to,
your home.
yeah,
But but
in your
but
own home.
but even those, even just to kind of add a little bit more to this, it don't even have, you can have a stroke. What if
Mm,
you have a stroke? People
yeah.
having strokes in young age. What if you have a heart attack? What if
Mhm.
you get diabetes and gotta get a limb amputated?
Mhm.
It gets real that fast.
Mm.
So who's going to take care of you?
Yeah. And where would you go? You
Where
people,
would you
we don't think about that. Not in our
go?
30s and our 40s and our 50s. But like you said, at any time your health can take over and something happen to you, and you're not able to adapt. And guess what? That word that I'm using in one of my programs is adaptability. If you don't have that, you can just go and decline. And
Quick.
as much money, especially in our culture, that we spend on purses and we spend on fashion and material things, or going out to the club. I'm not knocking anybody. Do what works for you. But I think
Right.
that some of that can be invested into a policy, like with Simi. That's the guy that was on Simi, and he'll be
There
back,
you go.
you guys, just to throw that out. He'll
Hmm.
be back on Wednesday to talk about that. But getting you a policy where, as though you have this stuff to take care of you when you get into your elderly senior years. So I'm going to skip over that last question and maybe come back to it. But I want to
Okay.
get into the next one, which is what are the three things that you see seniors encounter within aging? I know we mentioned dementia. We
Okay.
mentioned the stroke.
Dementia, and I would say depression. It's a
Mm,
lot of
let's get
depressed
into that.
seniors. And I will also say um, poor appetites.
Yeah.
A lot of them are not eating properly
Mm-hmm.
um, for a few reasons. One being, I don't know if we know about this or not, but the food pantries and the different organizations we had resources to get food. Now
Mm-hmm.
they're going to these immigrants that is down over here, thanks to the border being open. So now basically a lot of food pantries have ran out of resources. So now our seniors or less fortunate people don't have places to go get food. So
Mm,
that was one resource that got taken away. The depression part, because they may have outlived a lot of people, their spouse passed on,
children
they get
passed
very
away.
depressed. Yeah, they get depressed and or their life changed. Now they used to live on their own and now they have to come and live with their children who really don't want them there,
Right.
and so now they get depressed and their health just starts to decline. And it's really unfortunate and sad that these are the people who paved the way for us to be who we are. but we so fast forget about them.
That's right.
So fast forget about them.
Do Medicaid pay for senior your type of services?
They do. They do.
Okay.
Medicaid do. I am in the process of becoming a credential provider with them. Um,
Okay.
the drawback with Medicaid and Medicare is that their reimbursement rate is very low. So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of agencies don't like to work
Deal
with
with
them or
it.
be a provider for them
Mhm.
because their reimbursement rate is low. But I get a lot of inquiries, so I'm just going to go ahead and go with it because at the end of the day, I'm passionate about helping. And yes, monetary, this business need that to run, but it's more rewarding to know that I can put a caregiver in a home and a senior can age at home longer.
Yeah, without being into a facility. All right, you guys, we're going to take a quick break, really, right here. To pause really quick, so I can mention a good read for you guys to check out. Remember, I don't know what platform you're watching. If you're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, I'm just showing out right now.
Go ahead, come on now,
I
come
don't
on.
know which
Which one are you
platform you're
on?
watching on, but what I would like to say, don't forget to go and subscribe. If you're not on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube, the Leap of Faith Network. If you're on Facebook, head on over to Instagram and make sure you follow at the_Stubb Show. If you're on Instagram, head to Facebook and check me out on the Stubb Show. And also remember, if you have a product or you have a commercial, you have a new tune out, video, music, whatever, all that you can promote it on the Stubb Show. I had to think about which word I want to say. I'm just so excited today. I gotta get warmed up to this. But you can have your product and your brand or your commercial play right here on the Stubb Show. So we getting ready to take a break really quick, and then we're gonna come right back. I want you guys to check out this good read right here from a buddy of mine. So let's put this on. Oh, did you like that, girl? I gotta get some more
That's
commercials to put on
fancy,
up in
honey.
here. Girl, I
That
gotta get some more commercials to put up there.
that
Y'all
was
need to send me
fancy,
y'all
girl.
commercials and your videos. I'm learning how to work this. This is my first time, but y'all know I'm a master it. That I'm self-taught in everything. What Jermaine Dupree said, he said they can't take nothing from you when you taught yourself.
I know
You
that's
don't
right.
stop
Like
me. I'm
that.
unstoppable. But let's get back. Let me pull it back into presenter mode. All right, you guys, welcome back to the Stubbs Show. I am your host, Stubbs, and you are on with my special guest, Miss Angel Y of Home Helpers Home Care of Waldorf, Maryland. And we're talking about aging properly. So before we left, we talked about some of the things that seniors have to deal with in their aging. And then if Medicaid can support this. But let's get into some other programs. Are there any programs that assist seniors, other programs that assist them with paying for this care? And if so, can you give us a few?
Okay, so for someone who is just kind of in getting involved with this aging process and don't really know what to do, where to go, you definitely want to start with what is called Maryland Access. Maryland Access is like your first stop to gather your information to see what programs you qualify for. And then from there, they will put you in touch with other agencies or funding that may can help with maybe it's food resources, transportation, doctors, different organizations that can help you with that. So Maryland Access, to be honest, is like the hub
Okay.
for everything.
Everything. Okay.
So I would definitely say that this is their, let me give you the number. So I'll just give the number. It's 1-855-843-9725. And that's,
843.
yes, 9725.
Okay, and that's Merlin Access. I'm
Yes.
typing it in, you guys, so you guys can lock that in and keep that number. Yeah, it's very important that people know where their resources are and where to go because we just sometimes don't know and then don't know how to get the information.
And I'll also add two stubs, the health department. The health department has really good resources too. So depending on what state, because I know now you're like nationwide, depending on your state, I would I would say check with your local health department. and also Social Security Administration. They have resources as well. But it is some out there, but you definitely got to have patience and go through the process in order to get the help.
And I say prepare now because sometimes the worst thing for me to see is someone who looks like they're 70 or 80 years old, bent over, being a janitor at a McDonald's.
Mm,
Or, you know, the young kids are fussing because they're moving slow because they're a cashier somewhere. I mean, you got to do what you have to do. But I think that we just don't think enough about our senior care and think that our bodies would just hold up forever. And if you don't prepare now, you know, you may become that senior person because you can't expect that
quicker.
your children are going to take care of you. And
Listen, sooner. This is what we don't understand. We are not as active as we used to be. You have so many people working remotely. You
mhm,
have these smart devices doing everything for us. So what do you think the body is doing? Breaking down. You're not getting out walking to different cubicles. You're not going out walking to get
not
lunch.
going to the gym.
Not, that part, you're not going to the gym. So over time, your body is breaking down. As you age, your bone marrow gets thinner, so you're more likely to have fractures. Once you start having fractures and having to get things replaced, you're in trouble. And no, and let me just mind you guys too about the lower back pain, sciatic nerve pain. I know people that's young who have sciatic back pain. So it makes them more uh,
Prone to.
prone to and less active because of the pain.
Oh,
So now you're taking all this pain medicine to numb your back. But I would say this, it's important to go to a chiropractor. My
mm,
mother had sciatic nerve and she had sciatic nerve pain. And we went to a chiropractor and I was just asking him, I'm like, how do you prevent something like this from happening? He said, you need to come. People don't understand chiropractors are just like your primary care doctor. You
mhm,
need to go and get aligned at least twice a month
mm,
because your spine takes so much. And over the years, it just deteriorates and deteriorates. So I go to a chiropractor because
mm.
I see the breakdown of the body. And I want to make sure I'm keeping myself aligned because if I don't, now I may start having knee problems. Because guess what? My spine is out of line. Now I'm having hip problems. So I would just say this, like we saying tonight, it's so important to educate yourself on what and who is going to be paying for home care services because it's always changing.
Mhm.
I do know long-term care insurance. If you are a veteran, I know veterans do. I do know some federal government agencies pay for. They have different programs. One being Bright Horizon, another one being Care.com. That they will pay if you have like a short-term thing where you got to get maybe a hip replaced or shoulder replaced or something
Aflac,
like that.
Aflac
Yeah,
is another
Aflac is
company
another
that
one.
helps with certain things. But like you said, if you don't even have those things set up, you're short when if you think that you're going to slip and fall, bust your hip, going to the hospital, and those bills are going to be cared for by Medicaid or just out of nowhere. And even with your company insurance, a lot of times when it
Yeah,
comes to that home care or taking care of yourself beyond the hospital and the medical bills, they're not caring for it. And then you got to
nope.
take off work. You know, you have to, it's just so many things that I believe that, especially within our culture, we don't educate ourselves. And that's why I like to have
Mhm.
shows is, you know, like this and as such, because if we don't know what resources out here, we're not pushed to go get them, and we don't acknowledge what we're going to need in our future, we're going to constantly keep dying. Like we have a slow death within our culture beyond just the gun violence, beyond
Yes,
just, you know, our health care and the mental health. It's so many things that we are slowly dying in, and we got to fix it, you know,
yes.
because other cultures, they own it. They moving
They
in it.
are.
Not
Yes,
only
they
are
are.
they on it, they putting their children onto it and their grandchildren by the age of 5 and 10. And we got to catch up and stop saying we waiting for somebody to pay us or they owe us some things we owe to ourselves.
Amen.
Like this information right here. So and one thing I want to say about you, and then just hearing you talk about your business and all this information, but I'm like, look at my girl doing her thing. You also have a heart for this. So over the years, I've watched you work in the medical field and go from watching people pass away and take their last breath, and the stress of those last years or days of your life. So with you owning your business, this is perfect because, like you said, when you go and you meet with your clients and you're thinking about putting a worker in there, you're thinking about their real needs, and making sure that they're looked out for and that they're okay, not just the dollar sign.
That's
So
it.
that's a great
But
thing
you,
about
this is
dealing with
you have
you.
been on the phone with I went and covered a shift.
Oh,
I mean, all night, and
baby, off the just told me you about to go to bed.
bed.
You done did your
Okay,
facial. You was excited about it. Next thing I know, I'm getting a ring, and I'm like,
I'm
what's
on my
going
way.
on? I'm on my way to work. I got to cover a shift. A staff didn't show up. So you make that ship roll regardless. And I'm proud of you.
Because
I'm
like you
proud of
said,
you.
the key word is this is a passion. I'm
Yeah,
so passionate about it. And now that I'm being in this community, it's so unfortunate how we don't think it's gonna happen to us. We
yeah,
live to die, guys.
yeah.
We nobody
Literally.
outlived time.
Yeah.
Everybody got their time, and you don't know how yours is going to be. So it's so important to take this information and begin to move on it.
And not
Because,
only that, we got so many drugs out here. Like you talked about
girl, that
um
too.
the prescribed drugs, but we have weed with things that we don't know about in it. We have these drugs that where people are sneaking things into your drinks and into your prescribed pill prescriptions and things like that. So you just never know what's and mental
The
health
side
issues.
effect, come, that's
Something happened to you and you
girl.
have a mental breakdown, and it just causes your body to go into something that you never experienced. And if you're not prepared for that, you have nothing. Let me tell you, there are so many people out here who thought that their family were going to help them, and
Mhm.
unfortunately that didn't happen. And they get to a place where they not only depressed, but they broken down, they stuck, and there's nothing that they can do because now you waited to the last minute. You have no one, you have no backup plan, and there's nothing to happen to help you. But let's get into this next question, because before you go, I want to also get into the positions that you're offering, just in case people within the local
Okay.
area would like to assist you and work with you. So since you've been doing this business, what has been the most rewarding part of working and caring for seniors? Because I know it's going to be great. We talk about all
Oh
this.
my goodness. So I feel the most rewarding part is when my caregivers or the family say, oh, they just like family. When I have a caregiver become like a family member, especially when the client was not really open to home care. And
Mm,
now they don't want nobody else but that caregiver. And also just making a connection with families and becoming their family. I have so many people that if you just go check my reviews out, it speaks volume. Um, it's like I become a part of their family. And I
mm,
do all of my initial home assessments. So every client that I had, I always went out and I initially met them, met the family, and then I do a meet and greet with the caregiver so they can meet them before they start. And it's like we become a family.
mm-hmm,
So just to be able to take some of that pressure off of a daughter or a son, and they can just get a little bit of relief when they at work knowing that mom or dad is good. It makes me feel so good. And not only that, the client is in their home,
yeah.
or whatever, wherever they call home at that time.
Mm-hmm,
So it's one of those situations where monetary, the reward is good, but the greater reward is when you know you touch somebody's life and just hearing their story. I
mm-hmm,
had taken care of God. He was 104 and he
mm,
still had all his faculties and he was able to share with me what he did for work. He took care of many presidents.
mm,
He was able to tell and share stories with me about presidents. I have another lady right now. She's 97, and before she passed, well, she ain't even passed, but before she got into her state that she's on hospice now, her daughter shared with me that she met Martin Luther King, got
mm,
pictures with him and Al Sharpton, and I mean all these great people. So it's such a gift when you get to meet people that live beyond 90s and 80s, because they're jewels. They're really angels. And that's what I love. I thrive off that. I
Yeah.
thrive. That's the reward for me. That's what get me out of my bed.
Yeah.
I'm like, they need me.
Yeah, and you, like you said, they like angels. They say things
Oh,
to you, and you be like, "Well, how'd you know to say that to me?" And it speak right to you.
to your soul.
That's
To
the
your
that's the
soul.
reward of being around a senior in their right mind, because they can tell you stories and tell you things that their words give you strength.
Yes,
Because
they
it's like,
do.
yeah, their words will give you strength, and they like, baby, I went through this, and you don't know about this, and it's like, okay,
Or
me
or
calm
just
down.
seeing how simple they live. They live a very structured life. They go to bed at a certain time, they take a bath at a certain time, they still use rollers, certain things. So you just get to watch how they live a very simple life, but at the same time, they live a very fulfilled life.
And not
And
stressing about nothing.
nothing,
Not nothing.
nothing.
They at that age where, baby, I know these are my last years. They're gonna be my best years, meaning I'm not stressing. But see, you have been in business now for what, 2 years?
For a little over 2 years.
So
Yep.
you've been in business now for a little over 2 years with Home Helpers Home Care of Wardorf, Maryland. What has been your biggest challenge, and how did you handle it?
I would say my biggest challenge was finding a balance in my life. When I first started my business, of course, I was very excited. I was nervous. Um, I had a bunch of emotions in me because I knew every 2 weeks when I was working my corporate job what that pay was going to look like. But
Mhm.
once I walked out that door on August the 5th, 2022,
I
I
remember
wasn't
that
sure.
day.
I remember that day. Okay, I took a picture because I knew I didn't know what I was going into. I
Mhm.
just did not know. I was excited, nervous, and a whole bundle of a lot of things. But and when I say finding a balance, that year as well, I homeschooled my middle child. So I
Mhm.
started a business with homeschooling. My son was in his senior year, and then I had a 6 year old, and well, she was 5, a husband, my mother and mother-in-law was living with me. I had a plan. I didn't even have a plan
Mhm.
because here it is. I'm going into something I didn't know, and I'm taking on a whole bunch of new things. But the way that I really handled it was I got closer to God
Mhm.
because it was nobody that I can really talk to that could really fully understand what I was going through.
Mhm.
I did have good colleagues. I do have still good business mentors. But when that phone hung up, I still had to live with what I had to live with and deal with what I had to deal with. So for me, that has helped a lot. And then too, not living in my head so much, just doing it,
Mhm.
and staying a student of my craft. I'm always going to different events. I'm always listening to different YouTube. I'm always just following people who's already done what I'm doing now. And
Mhm.
that has helped a lot too, because caregivers are amazing when they are, but let's be honest, this type of work, caregivers go from agency to agency. You know, I do have a good group that I have right now. And as long as you're able to give them hours, they'll stay with you. But I must say, I have done my homework. I am one of the higher paying agencies because I've done the work. And so
You
I
know how
know
it feels and what's needed,
that's
the
it.
work
I
and
know
the value of it.
exactly. So I don't underpay my caregivers. So I do have a good staff of caregivers that I can call for those last minute shifts. So I am thankful about that. But yeah, I would just say just really caregivers. They kind of they go from agency to agencies. But for the most part, I'm building a good team. I got a pretty good team right now.
And
I'm
that's what, go ahead.
no, I was going to say right now I have about 13 active caregivers, and I have 14 active clients. So we're on a good page. It's we moving. The train is moving.
And I'm glad that you brought that up about when challenges, and most business owners. I'm glad when you guys say that, because people think that, oh, you jump out there and everything's just like phew, you don't have no problems, nothing happens. But it takes a lot to keep going. And like you said, you are a mother, you are a wife, you are a daughter-in-law, and it's like God kind of was preparing you for this before it even really happened. Because, like you said, you had your mom and your mother in law living with you.
Yes,
So, building patience with that. And then a husband, that's a lot. And then two girls, one being a Taurus like me, and me, me on the other end.
yes. I mean,
I'm like four less.
friendship, everything. I had to find a balance, guys. I was like, where is the lifeline? But
You kept going and you pushed through. And like you said, dealing and helping the seniors helped you out a lot. We're rounding things about, and I want to make sure that you're able to let people know how to connect with you, if they're looking for a job within the Maryland area, and what's needed if they want to get hired. But before we get into that, what is your main takeaway that you want families to get from Home Helpers Care of Waldorf, Maryland?
I want families to take away that, like I said, just have patience with your loved ones. Um, and also educate yourself. When I do go into homes, I do try to give resources to my families just to help. Dementia is definitely one of the bigger challenges that I get called for a lot. People, their mom or dad have dementia. They don't know what to do. They becoming aggressive. So I do try to give them resources. I am looking to start a support group for my families, and also for my caregivers. I would say to anyone on this call right now, to make this thing really real for you guys, go and visit a nursing home. I think that's going to make everything hit home for you guys. When you walk through that nursing home and you see that not everybody is elderly, there's some younger people in there too,
Mm-hmm.
and I think maybe that will help. I really challenge you to do that. And even with doing that, if you do have a loved one that may be aging, or you walking around here with high blood pressure that's not controlled, that can cause a stroke. So we need to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves, because again, it's not just the elderly people that we're seeing, that
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing. I'll speak for myself. It's not just elderly. Elderly to me is not 62 years old. That's not elderly to me. And I have gotten calls for clients who need assistance in their 60s. And that's not old. That's not elderly to me.
Still young.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's still young. So takeaways is, we just gotta have patience with each other. We have to have patience, and we have to move on the information that we're hearing. Make sure you're getting your affairs together. Nobody want to talk about that, but it's something that we need to talk about.
Yeah.
Do you have a policy? And Shadana, you give great resource, and you have great people on this show. People who tune into this show, is no reason why you should not be applying the information you're hearing. No,
Mm-hmm.
let's not waste your time. You on here for a reason.
Yeah.
So therefore, take something from this and apply it to your life, because we on borrowed time.
Mm.
We on borrowed time. And you don't know the day, the hour, you don't know how you want to leave. So you want to make sure that you are putting things into place to make it easier on your loved ones.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't want to put that burden. Nothing feels worse than the guilt of you putting your burdens on someone else, and they making you feel a certain way about what you're doing. So I know that you're hiring. So let's get into that. You're always hiring. Let the people know what type of positions you're looking for, and how can they connect with you for to an interview, job interview.
So I am hiring, as you always say, caregivers is always a high
Rotating
demand for
doors.
me. Huh?
Rotating doors.
Yes, yes, it is. It's always a high demand for me. I do hire CNAs, home health aides, and just caregivers, because I realize some of my older, or my more seasoned caregivers, they may not be CNAs, but they are really great at what they do. So I had to kind of take off of just hiring only CNAs. So I do hire CNAs, home health aides, and home care as well. I am looking for a care coordinator. And what that person would do is do exactly what the it states it's the care to coordinate care. I would preferably like a either LPN, because I have one now that goes out and do the home assessments with me. So we can, if you're interested in that, I would love to talk with you more. I'm also looking to connect with any case managers, discharge planners, social workers, anyone who coordinates someone who's being discharged from a facility. That means a rehab, nursing home, or the hospital. I have an amazing program that I'm rolling out. It's called the Continuity of Care. I have a team of people that I work with. We like to say it's from the hospital home to heaven, because we want to help with the readmission rates in the hospital. Um,
Okay.
Hospitals hate to have readmission rates, so we want to try to help with that. So if we can bring the physical therapy to your home or the occupational therapies to your home, that would help with you making them falls and going back in the hospital. So those right now are kind of like what I'm looking for. But again, I'm always looking for some amazing caregivers. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. And yeah, so how can they connect with you?
So they can connect with me on Instagram at homehelpers.wardolphmd, or on my website at homehelpershomecare /Wardorf-MD.
And I
And
also have your email address on
yes,
at Angel Y at Home Helpers, so you guys can check that out for her contact. I'm not sure. I know it's showing on the Stubbs Show on Facebook and on YouTube. I'll put the information in on Instagram. This has been a wonderful interview. I thank you for
amen.
joining me here on this evening for my first three show platform. So I thank you for that. And then talking about senior care, because we're always talking about that and just things with our mom and what we notice in our younger years versus our parents in their older years. And that's why this was such a good show to come on. Actually, I see that the email is up here. I'm learning as I go. It done popped up. I don't know how I did it. But I want you to give your contact information again. Oh, you just gave that. Don't want you to give that, but give your social media handles for Home Helpers of Wardolph, Maryland. And then we're going to do one last ending, and then the
Oh,
show is over.
okay. Well, I want to say thank you for having me on the show. This was amazing. This is my first interview, and it's very special. I know it's many more to come.
That's right.
I'm not a big social media person. You get on me all the time about it. But I will share. I'm working on that. They say hire to your weakness, so that's something I will hire to. But you can follow me on homehelpers.wardolphmd, and that's homehelpers.wardolphmd, and that's on Instagram. Um, and then from there, you can connect with the Facebook. I don't know that one right off the top of my
I'm
head.
gonna help you out. I'm gonna help you out. It is actually Home Helpers of Wardolph, Maryland. So I type it in and it comes up. For some reason, I
Oh,
used to couldn't, but it's up there now.
oh,
And you've been doing some okay posts. So yeah, it's up there now. So Facebook is Home Helpers of Wardolph, Maryland, MD, just MD, and it'll come up on there. So you
I'm
guys
gonna
make
do
sure
better. I'm gonna do better. I have to
you
do
shared
better.
that
But
with me. That's okay.
I, I'm telling you, my plate.
You
I
did a
had a
good
plan and not a plate. It be full. It be
yeah.
full, full. But
You
I
did
gotta do
you did a
better.
wonderful job. You did a wonderful job. So I never let my guests leave without saying something positive, because the Stubbs Show was formed from the Leap of Faith show. So it's all about faith here. So leave the people with something positive. Whatever it is that you want to say, it can be anything, just got to be positive. Take the mic.
I would like to share with the amazing people is that let's work on not being selfless. Like, be selfless. Give more of yourself. Meaning that I love social media. I do. But I feel like it has gotten us so self-centered that we don't pay attention to the outside world. It's all about me, me, me. And that's not how the world was created to be. So I just challenge someone on here today, or all of you guys on here today, do something that you haven't done in a long time, which is give your time to someone that is in need. Meaning that go and pay a visit to somebody, go take somebody to the store, do something that you know is meaningful to someone else. That's what I want people to, that's my positive word of the takeaway.
I love it. I love it. And while you were giving that takeaway, I put the focus straight on you. I removed myself and I was able to put that. I'm learning. I'm just saying that because I'm
Now,
learning.
you just having a good time over
I'm just
there.
having a good time playing around with new
You
technology.
having a
Before
real
y'all
good
know it,
time.
y'all know I'm gonna have this thing mastered and all types of commercials, all types of things going on. But I thank you for joining me, Angel Y from Home Helpers. Home care of Wardolph, Maryland. Make sure you guys check her out. You continue to have a blessed evening, and we will chat later.
All right. Thank you. Good night.
Good night. Good night. Remember, you guys, I'm getting ready to take a quick break and I'm going to come right back so I can end the show. But because I just want to play around with technology while I'm on, and this is the first one, so you guys bear with me. I'm just going to go for it. Here we go. I think they can see me. All right, you guys. So I am back. That is our book sponsor. If you haven't already heard me talk about them, this is a good read. It's about mentorship. It is called Becoming Lion. It is a collaboration of, can you guys see that? There we go. It's a collaboration of 9 authors, the main author being Dayon McLaren Johnson. So you guys can check this book out. It's something that our youth need, which is mentorship. The author in here that I would like to point out is Mr. Arnold Jackson, a very great guy, and he gives good advice. So you guys go to Amazon, purchase your copy of Becoming Lion, and make sure you follow them on Instagram. Remember, if you would like to become a book sponsor or a sponsor of the show and have your product placed within the show or announced, all you have to do is, depending on what platform you're on, you can DM me, you can inbox me, or you can email me right here, and I'll put the email in here for you to check out. But I'm getting ready to go, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed the show. I hope that you think about how to properly age and make sure that you check out some of those resources that she gave you. Make sure you come back on Wednesday where Simi will be on to let you know how I myself, as well as him, can assist you with getting some type of insurance policy to make sure that your family is covered. And I would suggest that you start them out as a baby so I can help you get a life insurance policy or a policy for your aging or for your home. So let's talk. Let's talk. I got you covered. Remember, you guys, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, The Stubb Show. I'm getting ready to go. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Have a lovely rest of your evening. Let's see. I'm going to try something as I get ready to exit because I want to put my video on and see if I can get you guys with this. Remember, if you are into productions and you're like, hey, Stubbs, I want to help you with the Stubbs Show, or I want to help you to get some things in tune, then make sure you guys just connect with me. This is a one-woman show right now, and I wouldn't mind the help. Okay, here we go. I cannot find it. I'm getting ready to go, you guys. I'll see you next week.